Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of the province of British Columbia in gorgeous Canada. I hope everybody is having a superb week so far. Welcome to our members. Hi Baljeet, hi Kyber, hi Laura, Sandra. Nice to see so many members in the class. Welcome Simran. Marjona, good to see many of our regular students, and welcome to our chat moderator, making it sure that everybody keeps it clean, keeps it focused on IELTS. Welcome Carolina. Good to have you all here with me today. Students, in this class we are looking at IELTS speaking part 3. We finally got there. So yesterday we did speaking part 1. In the last class we did speaking part 2 with our members, and now we're on to speaking part 3, which is the last and final part of your speaking section of the IELTS exam. All done within 12 to 15 minutes. And we're looking for those Band 9 Powerhouse answers to finish off the listening section and guarantee that Band 9 score. So hang in there. If you've made it this far, that's great. If you didn't see the last lesson or two, no worries. You're still going to learn tons and tons in this class. And this is proudly presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, that's the place to go. That's the place to learn. For general IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. On both of these websites, we have loads of materials to help you improve your communication and your English. This is our academic IELTS website here with this blue background. Click this red button to join our premium package for a one-time payment, lifetime access. You can see off to my right there that we are an official British Council IELTS test registration center. We're partners with British Council. We're certified British Council agents. We definitely know what we're talking about. We've been in the IELTS game a long time, and we help thousands of students reach their goals every month, every week. All right. Baljeet, audio is repeating. I'm not sure if that's for everybody, but it shouldn't be. All right. If anybody else is having difficulties with video or audio, let me know. Okay. All right, everyone. For general IELTS, it's the green background. Again, big red button, one-time payment, lifetime access, well worth it. And you can use a discount code. This promotion that we have going right now, it's Pass IELTS. So Pass IELTS, 20% discount. You go to the website, you click the big red button. If you're in general, you click that one, and then you click the coupon code Pass IELTS. Continue. You get the 20% discount. For me here in Canada, that would be $58 after the discount. For you in other parts of the world, it could be cheaper for sure. So check that out. And then you're off to the races, meaning you get to start your learning. All right, students. So to get a hold of me, email is great. You can send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I will get back to you pretty quickly. Usually in 24 hours or less. If you want to get only our exam books, we've got 6 of them for both the academic and general IELTS. You can get our books from Amazon. Just search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS on Amazon. And we've got live classes from Wednesday to Saturday, so follow our live classes. Tomorrow we'll have Task 1 writing for members, and we'll have reading for everyone. And then on Saturday, we'll have a Q&A session, question and answer for members. And again, speaking part 1 to finish the week. So check that out. All right, so part 2, we just finished last class. Part 2 was about a person who made a positive change in the world. Okay, that was part 2 if you missed it. The person we talked about was Madame Marie Curie, okay, a very famous Nobel Prize winning physicist, chemist, whose discoveries helped to create the X-ray, medical imaging. She transformed the scientific community as far as acceptance of women. So very, very important individual in the world. And now we continue with speaking part 3. So the reason I told you about speaking part 2 is because, students, if you're looking for that band 9, okay, then you have to connect your part 3 to your part 2 for greater coherence, for greater fluency. And simply put, for overall better communication. Okay, so when we have put together ideas in our discussion, obviously we're going to have much better communication. Okay, so let's do this. Let's get into speaking part 3. Let's talk more about changing history. So obviously there's a connection here. Okay, so let's talk more about changing history. All right, so first question. So again, the IELTS examiner will say, okay, that is the end of part 2. Now for part 3, I will ask you some more questions connected to your response in this topic. Some people create much change in history during their lifetimes. What do you think motivates such people? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this question. So some people create much change in society during their lifetimes. What do you think motivates such people? Give me a nice full sentence answer. I'm going to do the same. For this one, we're going to stick to typing our answers, and then soon I will call our viewers and our members, and we will do this verbally. So you will actually hear your fellow peers responding to these questions verbally, and I will give analysis and feedback, okay? So, Colwinder, thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. Colwinder says you're doing such a great job, sir. I really appreciate that. I put my heart and soul into it. Hand, could be part of the answer that I just, the question that I just asked. Okay, so Kyber says, I believe that finding the meaning of lives, as well as having to believe in one's self, gives motivation for a person to bring some change in the community. As mentioned earlier, Madame Marie Curie was a person who believed in herself and brought positive change to alter humanity, as nowadays people can use the X-ray machine to check up the exact area of a broken bone, seeing that thanks to Mary. Okay, Kyber, a little bit shorter. All right, so you've got good information there, but you want to be more concise. All right, so Kyber, I'm going to try to see you in our speaking, and I want you to be more concise. Okay, so say it shorter. Me says, I believe that the motivation of these people who create change in society is their hard lives. Okay, Mia, and there's some better words that you could use for that. Think about it. What I mean is that they live in a difficult situation, so that they have to come up with an idea to make their lives better. Okay, me, I'm going to take your ideas, I'm going to transform them a little bit. Okay, so All right, so here's kind of a unique and fancy response for everyone. Okay, so again, the question, and students, this is speaking, so speak and repeat, okay? Don't stutter like I just did, if possible. So speak and repeat, okay? Copy what I say, copy my intonation, copy my pronunciation. Here we go. So, and copy the questions as well. Here we go. Some people create much change in society during their lifetimes. What do you think motivates such people? I think many people who have a major impact on humanity, like Marie Curie, are fueled by adversity. I mean that they rise up in the face of a challenge, like not being accepted in academia by men, in order to pursue their passions, like science, and come out on top. Thanks to this, we have X-ray machines in all hospitals today. Okay, so here I did something kind of unique, and this is fairly advanced English, where you basically state the idea, give an example based on the part two. State the idea, give an example based on part two. State the idea, give an example based on part two. And some students who feel confident when we do the volunteering, then you should try this. Okay, so here's stating the idea. I think many people who have a major impact on humanity. And then here's the example, like Marie Curie, okay, from the part two that we practiced, are fueled by adversity. Okay, finishing the idea. I mean that they rise up in the face of a challenge. Again, stating the idea or the explanation in this case, like not being accepted in academia by men. So there's the example cutting back to part two. Again, stating the idea in order to pursue their passions. And then again, here is the example, like science, because that's what Marie Curie did, obviously. And then finishing the idea and come out on top. Now you have to really pay attention to your technique, with your intonation in this technique. And then finishing with, again, the example. Thanks to this, we have X-ray machines in all hospitals today. Okay, so let's do this one more time. It's a fancy way to speak. It is very clear communication, and it's very powerful communication. So idea, interject, example, idea, interject, example, idea, interject, example, or you can say answer, interject, example, explanation, interject, example. Okay, so here we go. One more time, repeat after me. I think that many people who have a major impact on humanity, like Marie Curie, are fueled by adversity. I mean that they rise up in the face of a challenge, like not being accepted by men in academia, in order to pursue their passions, like science, and come out on top. Thanks to this, we have X-ray machines in all hospitals today. Okay. This is very strong communication because each idea is emphasized by the example. All right, so you can practice this and use this for one or two of your answers, especially in part three. And the examiner will be like, ooh, that's some really good communication. Okay, so note this strategy. Answer, example. The example, notice that I'm using like, okay, and then explanation, example, okay, and again, notice that I'm using like, okay, and you can do this as often as you like. I mean, be careful if you do this for every answer and you do it too often, it could start to sound awkward, so you have to find the balance, but it's a good way to do it. Okay. All right. Without further ado, I want to give chances for everybody to practice right now. So let me switch to some volunteering, and then let's do this. Okay. All right. Here we go. So we're going to take some volunteers for speaking, and I will ask these questions, and then you will have a chance to give me an answer. I will analyze your response, and then we will make some improvements. Okay, so first, register or a free or a paid account at aehelp.com. Go to your My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking, and then make sure to enable your microphone. This is the step many people forget, enabling your microphone. Your browser will say, do you allow this website to use your microphone and your speaker? And you should say allow. If you don't allow it, it doesn't work, okay? And then message me in the chat. Click on the blue envelope, not the messenger icon, okay? Envelope for master. I want to volunteer, and I will ping you, okay? Let me show you how this works. So we're gonna hop over to our website here, all right? We're going to the academic website, so with the blue background. You can join for free by clicking this green button, the try demo. And then of course, I highly recommend using our premium IELTS course, which is the red button. It's a one-time payment, really doesn't cost much. Click on that, and then you will have a My Student account that's up at the top there, right? And then you have this Student Partner Speaking, and if you like this partner speaking, you can book a full interview with me with this yellow button, the Speaking Interview Practice button. But for now, we're using the Student Partner Speaking. You have to accept our terms that you are polite and you are responsible for what you say or type. And then you get into this interface with all of these users. So we've got tons of wonderful users in here already. We've got Anirban, Robiakson, Charantea, Sirkan, Hashir, Khabib, Baljit, lots of students. So that's fantastic. And then just ping me, and I can see many students are pinging me. That's why these orange ones are popping up. And Baljit, I remember that last class, we didn't have enough time for you. So let's start with Baljit today. Okay. Please don't call me, I will call you. So Baljit, are you ready? So we'll start a question off with Baljit. Today, make sure you enable your microphone. You can test your system with other users. This is actually primarily for students to find partners for free with each other so that they chat with each other, okay? Okay, Baljit, nice expression. Baljit says, I'm ready as I'll ever be. Very good, Baljit. Okay, here we go. So I'm just calling Baljit. Hi, Baljit.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic. How are you, Baljit?
I'm also doing great, sir.
That's great. That's awesome. Okay, Baljit, so we will get right into a part 3 question. Give me a nice full sentence answer. And remember, if possible, try to connect to part 2, okay? So
Okay.
I'm going to hop back to the same question that we just covered, okay? And then I'll ask you a follow-up question so you get to answer both of these. Let's talk more about changing history. Some people create much change in society during their lifetimes. What do you think motivates such people?
I think curiosity is one of the reason which opens the doors for innovation, which not only help them but society also. As Marie Curie, his research was a boon for medical science, as now people can easily diagnose inner the body.
Okay. Is this always good or bad?
I think it is sometime, most of the time it is good, but sometimes it is quite bad, as it is a boon for the medical science, but also nowadays we have nuclear bombs, which is quite a bad, maybe we can say it's detrimental for the society, because it can vanish an entire country with snap of a finger.
Okay. Let me give you some feedback.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So not bad at all. I like how you made the connections to part 2. Okay. So first I asked you what motivates such people to create that positive change in society. And you said, I think curiosity is one of the reasons that opens doors to innovation. And I think that was really good. It was a nice use of that expression, opens doors, opens the doors. There are slight mistakes in being accurate in your speech, Baljit, and that would eventually decrease your score. So your overall band score for this would be about 6.5 to 7. So I think maybe 5 examiners would say, okay, that could be a 7, and 5 would say, okay, that could be a 6.5 just because of the mistakes. But your lexical resource was quite good. You have to be a bit more accurate, and that comes with practice and feedback, okay? So you said, I think curiosity is one of the reasons that opens doors to, that opens doors for many people to innovate, which not only helps them, but also society. As Marie Curie, whose discovery led to medical imaging. Okay. Now, I found that you were a bit wordy, so you used a bit too many words. So what you want to focus on, Baljit, is just being a bit more concise. So practice saying what you say, but in a little bit of a shorter way, okay? And then I asked you, is this always good or bad? And you said, I think this is, and you had a little bit of difficulty starting here, which would affect your fluency score, even though you had the idea. So what's important, Baljit, is once you have the idea, just stay with it and then keep talking. So don't jump from good to bad to good to bad to good to bad, because then it stops your fluency. So you said, I think this is, most of the time it is, and you should have just started. So most of the time I think this is good. Or if you start the other way and you say, I think this can be bad, you can still switch. You can say, I think this can be bad, but most of the time it is good. Like with Marie Curie and medical imaging. However, the same technology has been applied to weapons manufacturing, such as nuclear weapons. You didn't make the connection, Baljit, that they're using radiation and the same technology that Marie Curie discovered. Okay, so that had to be me. I had to be the one that had to think that, okay, I think what you're telling me is that Marie Curie's discoveries also led to nuclear weapons, right? You have to be clear on that. You have to clearly say that, okay? So let me fix this second question a little bit, and then I'll get you to repeat, okay? So I think most of the time it is good, but sometimes it is also bad, as nowadays we also have nuclear bombs that use the discoveries of Marie Curie, which is detrimental to society. Nice use of the word detrimental, because it can vanish. Not vanish, Baljit. Vanish is a bit awkward in this context. What would be a better word? There are some words that could fit a lot better here than vanish. Can you give me another words or another word?
Explode, maybe.
Not explode. We wouldn't use that as well. Destroy or level. an
Destroy,
entire
yes.
country with the snap of a finger. I like that expression. Okay, so I'm going to say this again, just a little bit clearer with better connection, and then repeat after me, okay? So I think most of the time it is good, but sometimes it is also bad, as nowadays we have nuclear bombs that use the discoveries of Marie Curie, which is detrimental to society because these weapons can destroy an entire country with the snap of a finger. Okay, whenever you're ready. So is this always good or bad?
I think most of the time it is good, but sometimes it is also bad. As nowadays we have nuclear bombs that use the discoveries of Marie Curie, which is detrimental to society because they can destroy an entire country with the snap of a finger.
Much better. Okay, so that's what you're going for, Baljeet. That's the accuracy. And now with your pronunciation and your fluency and that accuracy, that's easily a band 8.5, even a 9, okay? So very good.
Yes.
Okay, and again, it's the same advice that I gave to Tatiana in the last class, and I know you were there. So use those specific subjective nouns. So instead of they, because these weapons, or even a collocation like these weapons of mass destruction.
Yes.
Okay. All
I
right.
got it.
All right. And then I wouldn't use destroy because it's kind of the same as destruction, so I would use level. Okay. Level means flatten. It's another word you could use. Okay, Baljeet, that was good. Thank you for being our first volunteer in this class, and I look forward to our full IELTS speaking interview a little bit later this morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Talk to you soon,
I'm
Baljeet.
also looking forward to it.
Excellent. We'll see you soon. Okay, that was Baljeet. Everyone, give Baljeet a round of applause for being the first volunteer. And I see that some of our students wrote some other words that could have been a substitute for destroy. Anirban said erase. Samir said demolish. Mal said wipe out. Those are all very good. Okay, those would work. Wipe out, demolish, those are all excellent. All right, let me find another volunteer. Let's go with Rabbi Aksan. Let's see if Rabbi Aksan's with us today. So are you ready? I'm going to pick up some speed here, everyone, so we can get to more and more volunteers and really get cracking on this speaking part 3. And throughout this, I will give you more strategy and more feedback on what to do. So pay attention, everyone, to the feedback because these corrections apply to many students, not just one student. So, okay. Robbie Exton says yes.
Hello.
Hi, Robbie Exton.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
May I ask, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Robbie Exton?
Not exactly. It's Rabia Khan.
Rabia Khan. Okay,
Yeah.
so way off. Quite off. Yeah, Rabia Khan. Do you have a short form, like a nickname, or do you always use your full name?
Yes, you can say me Rabia.
Rabia. Okay, you can call
Yeah,
me,
or-
not say
yeah,
me.
you-
Call me. You can
You
call
can
me
call
Rabia.
me.
Okay, Rabia. All right, Rabia.
Yeah.
So
Rabia
cool.
is also good.
Robbie. I'll go with Rabia. I think it's I like it. Okay, so okay, Rabia. So we'll get into speaking question. Give me a nice full sentence response. Were you also watching the previous class where we covered part 2?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you know the topic that we discussed with Marie Curie. Okay, that's good. So try to make a connection to Marie Curie, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, Rabia. So here we go. What are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies?
Prosperity. 1 second. Future society. What may need Sir, I couldn't get the question.
That's
please?
totally okay, and Rabia, that can happen. So it's a great example. Let me tell you exactly what to do when this happens in the IELTS exam, because this happens to candidates. Okay, so don't worry about it one bit. It's completely normal. All right, it can happen even to a native speaker. So the first step, if this happens, Rabia, is try to get the examiner to repeat it, because of course in the real exam you don't see the question, you only hear it, right? So it's even more challenging. So at first, when you realize, ooh, what was that, right? Like, you're, what? Then just go, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat the question? Okay, so that should be your first strategy, is just get them to repeat it. Okay, and most of the time they will. Now, if you do this for 1 or 2 questions in part 3, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's way better than not saying anything or talking off topic, okay? So let's do this one more time, okay? And then just get me to repeat it. So what are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies?
Could you please repeat the question again? I couldn't get the question exactly.
Sure. What are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies? All right, now I have another question, Rabia. Do you now understand it, or is it still unclear? If it's still unclear, it's okay. Just tell me. Just say, no, it's still unclear.
Okay, let's. Could you please give me another question?
That's great. So that's what you should do. If you really don't know what that question is, then instead of talking about anything and everything, because that will surely get you a low mark, just ask to go to the next question, right? So if you still don't get it, that should be your next strategy. So good thinking. Okay, so you should say, I still am uncertain of what you are asking. Could you just ask me another question? And yeah, it might impact your score a bit negatively, but not as bad as if you go off topic, okay? So that is the best strategy, and you just should stay confident and do your best. You can still get a nice high band score if you miss one question, okay? Not everybody can talk about any or every idea. So you can say, I'm still unclear or uncertain of what you're asking. And I'm glad you're helping me practice this with students, because believe me, there are a lot of candidates who get into this situation, okay? Could you please just ask me another question? And then the examiner will appreciate that, rather than having to listen to you go off topic. Because if you start answering anyway, if you're like, well, there are lots of people that have positive change in the world, you know what's going to happen if you just start talking about anything? Can you guess? Do you know what happens?
My band score will go lower.
That will happen for sure, and there will be another kind of awkward situation that will happen. Do you know what that is?
He will stop me, I guess. The examiner will stop me.
Yeah, exactly. They'll just simply interrupt you. So they won't let you finish your off-topic answer, because they don't have time for that, and they'll just check that did not understand question, and then they'll immediately interrupt you and ask you the next question. Okay?
Okay.
All right, so that's what happens. Now, there are some tricks, Rabia, that you can use to kind of figure out the question, but you have to stay calm, you have to be confident, and you have to think quickly, okay? The first tip to kind of sometimes, because students do sometimes go, oh yeah, okay, I got it. I got what that question is. The first is always to think back on the topic of part 2, and especially on the topic of part 3. Okay, so topic of part 3 was, let's talk more about changing history. So when they say, let's talk more about changing history, it means that every question is in some way focusing or targeting this idea of changing history. Okay, so in this case, the question is, what are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies? So this question's basically asking you, now the examiner will never paraphrase it, but I'm going to in this case, just so you can give me a nice answer. So this question is simply asking you that what do we have to change in the world today or tomorrow to make sure that future generations continue to live well and live a good quality of life? Does that make sense now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so prosperity, the word prosperity or prosper means to live well. Okay, so we have enough food, we have enough water, we have good economies. Ensure means to guarantee. Okay?
Yes.
All right, so now I'll ask you the question one more time and give me the answer when you're ready. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So what are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies?
I think that people should really concentrate on education, educate youngest, and only with education we can build a society that we want in the future, and then we will have another Marie Curie's will occur to like to like sorry, I'm just nervous a bit.
Okay, not bad. Okay, let me help you. So I think your fluency is great, and I think you will be able to get a great band score in the IELTS once you figure this out, okay? So I think that your actual English level is probably around a band 7, but you need to be able to show that, okay? If you get stuck, if you run out of ideas, the examiner will have to give you a band 5 because you're not completing your answers. So, so far you said, I think that people should really concentrate on education. Only with education can we build society that we want in the future. This will produce another Marie Curie. And then think about an explanation here, right? To solve a situation. So Marie Curie solved the situation of medical imaging, for example, with her discoveries. So what kind of situations do we need to solve in the world today to make sure that future generations have a good life?
For example, climate changing.
Yeah, okay. Exactly, climate change and fresh water, fresh air.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you want to do. Okay, so let me kind of fix what you're saying, and then we'll do this one more time, and I'll get you to repeat, and then you'll feel what you need to do. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So let me take a look at this. So it's okay to repeat at the beginning to let you think. Like you said, I think that people should really concentrate on education only with knowledge, right? So let's paraphrase that. Can we build? It's kind of an interesting grammar there. Can we build a society that we want in the future? Then we will have, then we will produce another Marie Curie to solve climate change, freshwater shortage, and clean air. Okay, this will be critical for the survival of future generations. So I'm reflecting the question here. Okay, and then you're done. All right, so let me do this one more time, ask you the question, I will say the answer, and then repeat after me. Sounds good?
Yes, good.
Okay. So what are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies? I think that people should really concentrate on education. Only with knowledge can we build a society that we want in the future. Then we will produce another Marie Curie to solve climate change, fresh water shortage, or clean air. This will be critical for the survival of future generations. What are some changes that may need to happen to ensure the prosperity of future societies?
I think that people should really concentrate on education. Only with knowledge can we build a society that we want in the future. Then we will produce another Marie Curie to solve climate change and fresh air, water shortage, clean air. This will be crucial for the survival of future generations.
Okay, very good. Rabia, a little bit slower, okay? And just focus on what you're saying, okay? So don't worry about speed so much. You don't have to be that fast. You can be quite a bit slower and you'll still get a great score. Just focus on content. Answer, explanation, example, okay? Okay. All right. That was a tough question. I know. Don't worry about it. That happens in IELTS. The trick is don't panic. Get them to repeat the question. Think about the topic of part 3 to help you kind of figure out what it might mean. And if you still really don't know, then definitely quickly just say, I'm sorry, I still don't really get what you're asking me. Can you please ask me another question? And then they'll go to the next question. Okay?
Okay. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you for showing that for everybody. Robbie, you're helping me to show that to everybody. Continue your studies and I'm sure you will do fantastic, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Bye, Rabia. Thank you. Okay, Robia. Sorry. So that was Robia. Give Robia an applause. That's really stressful, especially when you're unclear of what you're being asked, right? That's one of the most nerve-wracking situations where somebody is speaking to us and we're like, ooh, what are you talking about? Okay, so that was great. Okay, I will take somebody else. Again, students, remember, don't panic, don't freak out. If you don't understand the examiner, it's not the end of the world. Just move through it, salvage, and save your score as much as possible. All right. Okay, we have Loon here. I'm going to try to reach out to Loon. Let's see. I'm ready once in a blue moon. It doesn't make sense, Loon, in that context, but I do get what you're saying. Okay. Are you ready? Okay, so the blue moon has come, Loon. And your name is actually close to the name of our moon, which is Luna. So, okay, hopefully Lun is still here. I think it's Lun, I'm sorry. I believe the pronunciation is Lun. I hope you're still with us because you have been patiently waiting. I know I've seen you message me once or twice. So let's see if Lun is still here. Yes, okay, there's Lun. All right.
Yeah.
Hi, Lun.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Hi, doing well, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Sorry, is it Lun or Lun?
Noon. Yeah, in
Loon.
Mandarin.
Okay, Mandarin. Okay, cool. Got it. So where are you right now, Lun?
I stay in Taiwan
You're in Taiwan.
in the midnight. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Late. You're burning the midnight oil. Very good. And
Yeah, definitely.
and the blue moon has come, right? So it's good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Loon. So we will jump to another part 3 question. I'm going to introduce a new topic for you, still kind of on this concept of positive change. And then give me a full sentence answer, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's discuss important historical figures. Why is it important to teach about important people in history?
I can talk about the history figure is my hometown figure because I think it's important to education a child to know what's the history happened. Maybe in the this decade, and tell the children about what we are and how we become in the future. So this is a lot of meaningful to children to know their parent or their friend or their country. Yeah. So maybe in the next decade, they will learn from the history.
How can people be encouraged? So I would, so the examiner will interrupt you at this point. Okay, so you have to kind of finish, Loon, what you're saying and let the examiner ask the next question. Otherwise, they will definitely interrupt you, and that's not a good thing. Okay, you don't want that.
Okay.
So if you see some other IELTS trainers saying like, oh, just keep talking till they stop you, absolutely not. Okay, it makes for a very awkward conversation, and it usually leads to lower band scores. You want to have a natural conversation. I say natural with my little fingers like this because it's not really natural. I mean, nobody sits there like an IELTS interview and has a conversation like that, but natural that, you know, question, answer, stop. Question, answer, stop. So you want to feel like it's kind of natural, okay? All right, so your band score, Loon, would be for that response about a 5, okay?
Okay.
And the reason why is because I didn't feel enough clarity and enough fluency for this to be a 6 or a 6.5. Remember that a band 6, according to the IELTS, is fluent speaking. And within fluent speaking, for a band 6, it has to be fairly clear. It doesn't have to be 100% or absolutely clear, but it has to be like 70% clear for the question that you're getting or that the examiner is asking. And I didn't feel that. I was trying to, like, I really had to think like, what are you telling me exactly? And I felt that, okay, what you're saying to me is that teaching history is important so that we understand our past and that we can make better plans for the future. But I think you could have said that much quicker. Now, also, that was off topic because my question was important people in history. So not just teaching history in general. History can be other ideas like events, like teaching about a war that happened, for example, right? Or teaching about dinosaurs would be history too. But this question was specific to people. And I didn't hear in your answer that you were really focusing on teaching about people like Mary Curie. Okay, and of course there are lots and lots of famous historical figures in Taiwanese history, in Chinese history that you could have kind of focused on as well. So really make sure that you reflect the question, Loon, and the way to do that is use the question in your answer. So you can say, I believe it is crucial to educate individuals about historical figures so that they have respect for their ancestors and they are motivated to become great individuals themselves. In fact, I know that Mary Curie was motivated for science after reading the works of Isaac Newton. Okay, and then you've made strong connections, right? So that's what you want to do. And the way to keep you focused on people is to reflect people in your answer. So I'm going to read this again and then just repeat after me, Luna, and I think you'll feel like, okay, this is way more accurate. Okay, so
yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's do this one more time. Why is it important to teach about important people in history? I believe it is crucial to educate individuals about important historical figures so that they have respect for their ancestors and that they are motivated to become great individuals themselves. In fact, I know that Marie Curie was motivated for science after reading the works of Isaac Newton. Okay, so one more time. Why is it important to teach about important people in history?
I believe it's a crucial to education individual about the important historical figures, so then they have a respect for their ancestors and then are motivated to become a great individual themselves. In fact, I know the Mary Curie was motivated for the scientist after reading the works of Isaac Newton. Isaac Newton.
Very good. Yeah, and good correction on the pronunciation. Watch your word forms. So here it's the verb educate. So to educate. Okay. Yeah, after reading, there was one other one with the word form, but just be careful with word form as well. Okay, so make sure you're using the correct word form, Loon. All right, Loon. So use the question in your answer and stick to the topic of the question, and you'll do great. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
All right, you're welcome. Keep up the good studies. That was Loon, everyone, volunteering all the way from Taiwan at a very, very late hour because he's way over on the other side of the world from me. Thank you, Loon, for being so persistent, and that kind of motivation and persistence to study like that, I'm sure, will lead to success. So good job. Okay, let's take somebody else. So let's go down the list a little bit, just so that people who are a little bit lower on the list don't feel like they never get a chance. So let's see if Laura here can volunteer. Laura says, I want to volunteer. Okay, Laura, are you ready? Let's reach out to Laura. And I'm also, you've probably realized I'm trying to switch up between male and female volunteers. Okay, Laura, here we go. Oh, I just rang Laura, but it seemed to cut out. Let me try one more time.
Hello.
Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome.
A
Laura,
little bit nervous.
that's totally normal. That's IELTS. Most people are very nervous. But Laura, good news is a great way to overcome your fear or your nerves is to do this kind of volunteering, and it will help you to be confident for your IELTS exam. Do you know when you're doing your IELTS exam?
I didn't book it yet, the exam.
Okay.
I'm still practice around. I need a band 7.
Okay, yeah, practicing well before your booking is a good idea. I usually suggest people to start practicing specifically for IELTS at least 3 months before they sit the exam, and in some cases even a half year before they sit the exam. Some people really leave it till last minute and they start practicing like 1 week before their test. That
I
can
think
be
that's the worst thing to do.
well, it can be people don't really know what to expect, so that's why that happens. But okay, so Laura, I will ask you a part 3 question. Again, just give me a full sentence answer to the best of your ability, okay? Nobody's, judging, so just do your best, all right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and we're continuing with this topic of let's discuss important historical figures, okay? In what ways are leaders today similar to leaders of the past?
I believe that the leaders today are very different to the leaders from the past, mostly because there are fewer people who can and know to lead a nation. For instance, in my country, even if it is very rich and beautiful, the president has poorly skills to organize everything and to make it a good place to live. That's why many people immigrate from that place.
Okay. All right, so great effort, Laura. Let me give you some feedback. Okay, so let me do a bit of separation here so it's clear for the viewers. Okay, so the question that I asked you is, in what ways are leaders today similar to leaders of the past? Now, can you see on the screen what my next question will be?
Yes.
What is it?
How are they different?
Okay, which one did you answer?
Similar.
Which one did you answer for me? How are
The
they different?
second one. The
Right.
second one.
Yeah, so you're off topic, right? If I'm asking you
Yeah.
to talk about bright and you talk about dark, it's going to drop your band score, even if you're using perfect English. Like, even if you were speaking really fluently, native speaker, and you were explaining to me how leaders today are different than today they are than in the past, I would have to give you a low band score because it's considered incoherent. And the criteria that has the biggest impact on your result is coherence. Okay, if you're incoherent, the best score with perfect English that the examiner can give is a band 5. They cannot give over a band, they're instructed, they're like, you cannot give over a band 5 if the answers are incoherent, no matter how good the English, okay? Because it just doesn't make sense, right? So it has to be similar. All right,
Yes.
Let's try it one more time. And my tip here is keep it a little bit shorter. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question one more time. Keep it a little bit shorter. Pick just one or two ideas of how they're similar, and then give an answer and an explanation, and just keep it short. Okay, keep it simple. Don't get lost in what's going on in your country or in politics necessarily. Just keep it simple. So one more time. In what ways are leaders today similar to leaders in the past?
I believe that leaders that are the similarities between the leaders of the present and the past are that they have good ideas in developing a nation, organizing their territorial place into a more evolving country.
Give me an example.
For example, China, even if it's a communist nation, because of their links with another countries, they produce the most important armament from.
And then how are they different? So this is where the examiner would interrupt you. The reason why, Loon, and this happens to many people, is that they overcomplicate, right? So you started kind of a little bit off, and then you realized, okay, that was a bit off, and then you corrected yourself, and you said the similarities between the leaders of the present and the past is they have good ideas in developing a nation. I thought that was fantastic. Okay, so that was a really good start. Okay, and good communication. To make individuals happy. Okay, don't say for example, because then the examiner gets scared. They think you're going to say this long example, which you actually did, and then they have to interrupt you. Okay, so don't say for example, just start with your example. Now, I like how you said China instead of in my country. So I'm guessing are you in China right now?
No, I'm from Romania.
Okay. Sure, because I didn't know where you're from, right? And then your previous answer, you said in my country, and I don't think anybody knew. So you can simply say in China, and then you don't need to say even if it is a communist country. So you can say Mao was a very powerful leader who united the country and put an end to civil war that has been going on for 1,000 years through his ideas and communication. Okay, so just like that, all right? And now some people might say, well, Mao wasn't that great. Some people will say he was great. It doesn't matter, okay? IELTS is not about politics. It's about giving a good answer, all right? And this question is about leaders today being similar to leaders in the past. This will work, all right? So let me repeat the question and the answer and then just copy me, okay? So in what ways are leaders today similar to leaders of the past? The similarities between the leaders of the present and the past is they have good ideas in developing a nation and good communication to make individuals happy. In China, Mao was a very powerful leader who united the country and put an end to civil war that has been going on for 1,000 years through ideas and communication. Many of his successors follow the same strategies. Okay. In what ways are leaders today similar to leaders of the past?
The similarities between the leaders of the present and the past is they have good ideas in developing a nation and good communication to make individuals happy. In China, Mao was a very powerful leader who united the country and put an end to civil wars that has been going on for 1,000 years through his ideas and communication. Many of his successors followed the same strategies.
Good, okay. So that's what you want to do. So keep it concise, okay? Don't go into, I felt like your mind kind of just shifted off into this long explanation or example when you just needed to stay more focused and more on topic, okay? So practice that when you're practicing your speaking, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Laura, for volunteering. That was awesome. Give Laura an applause, everybody. Keep it up, Laura. Keep doing a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was Laura. Thank you so much to all of our volunteers. We had quite a range of English from a variety of different cultures. The trick, everybody, is practice, practice, practice. So practice makes perfect, and learn from each other, okay? Use this interface that we're using here. Look at how many students are in here. You could reach out to so many of your peers who are taking IELTS, and just like me, click on the little blue envelope and say, hey, can we practice 1 or 2 questions? And then I'm sure many of you will be happy and you'll say, yeah, sure, that sounds really good. Let's do it. Okay, so use this. It's free. It's free for everyone. It works on the website, not the app yet, but it will work on the app later this year also. Okay, this is Academic IELTS English Help. You can click this red button to join the Premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. I strongly recommend using it. General IELTS, it's this green background. Click this big red button here to use this. And I will be back tomorrow with Task 1 Academic writing for our members, and then we'll do reading with everybody in the all chat class. So make sure that you come back tomorrow to practice writing and reading. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And if it's getting late in your country, then sweet dreams to you. Get a good night's rest and start the day fresh tomorrow. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.